So it's Advent of Code Day 2. Let's take a look at part 1 of password philosophy. So again, there's a little bit of kind of intrigue and backstory. But when we get into the meat of the problem, we're going to be given a big list of passwords. So these are the passwords. And then rules that were supposedly used to validate the passwords. And so what we need to do is we need to go through this entire list and find which of the passwords are valid according to the rule that they were created with. So you can see in the above example, A and C pass theirs because there's 2 to 9 C's in here. There's exactly 9. And then there's 1 to 3 A's in here. Yes, there's 1. But in terms of there being 1 to 3 B's, nope, there's no B's in here, so that fails. If there were 4 B's in here, that would also fail because it would exceed 3. That's how the password rules work, so we just need to write a program that can parse this and run the validation and see how many valid passwords there are. So we can pop open the puzzle input. Alt T's. I don't know what that's about. So we've got the password input. There's a bunch of it here. You can see the scroll bar going pretty far. What if I were to... I can't access the URL bar. Well, I can use Vimium. So I yanked the URL into my paste buffer. So if I jump over here, it would be, well, first let's make O2 and jump into there. It'd be nice if I could just curl this, but I'm guessing that these are, yeah, session specific. That's fine though. I can pop this open. The application tab. This looks like the session key, so I can copy that. And then I can curl again, but this time I'll say that the session equals session key, and okay. So that works. So then I can spit that out into part 1, and I guess we'll do Ruby again today. If we open that file, we've got our input. And then again, I'm going to want to, similar to yesterday, stick this whole thing inside a big array, indent all of that, close the array, and then we're going to need to wrap these all in strings in order to get some, in order to have some valid syntax here. Do the opening, and we'll do the closing. Okay, and I think, yeah, Rubocop's mad because I used double quote strings, but that's okay. Rubocop can put up with it. Let's take an example here. Oops, okay. So this example string, like I said, we're going to have to parse this. So this is like the rule part that we're going to parse out. So we've got kind of a min and max, and then the letter that we're looking for. And then we have the password itself. And we want to be able to say, does the password have that letter within the min and max values? So we're going to have to do some parsing of the input strings. And then we're going to have to additionally do some validation of the passwords based on the rules. So, yeah, let's start with, with this bit here, because what I'd like to do, and what did I call this variable again? Input. Let's call it inputs. So I'd like to iterate over this, filter it down to, does this thing pass validation, something like that. Kind of just pseudocoding here. So I'd like to filter over that and then get the size. Something like that, and then that can puts out the size. So then I guess we need some sort of validation method. It's probably a better name for that method. And then we'll want to be able to call that here. And there's like symbol to proc syntax. But this would be, if we were calling a method on the thing that we're iterating over, right? So I could do like the size of each string, but I think call like method, and then just call an arbitrary method. We'll see if that works. Okay. And then this, this just needs to return a true or false, but we gotta return false. And all right, I know what I can do. I can Ruby part 1 and see if that does its thing. Wrong number of, oh, okay. String, so we gotta give it its thing, and now we can try running that again. Size for main object. It doesn't want to call size on a filtered input list. Why is that? I don't know, maybe I'm doing the symbol to proc incorrectly. Let's look at that one more time. Let's see what the size for main object. So is it returning main object? Well, let's just look that up real quick. Not saying any results that I like. Did kernel, be more specific. Let's see if we can find method in here. Oh, maybe not. I thought, is that not on kernel? Thought it was. What does this do? Oh, that seems like what I'm looking for. Well, we're just going to have to carry on, and maybe I'll have to split out a proper block to pass to the filter. Yeah, let's actually do that. I'll just call do, I guess. String, something like that. And then we'll just call validate password on the input string. Output's size. Maybe that was the issue. Let's answer. So yeah, let's just back that up. Zero. Okay. Wow, did I have a line number that I was just ignoring? 1016. That doesn't seem right. Oh, it is 1016 because we got a ton of input up here. Shoot. Okay. So when debugging, look at the error messages. That's my pro tip. Great. So we have kind of the skeleton of this thing working. And actually, maybe another piece of this is to parse input and give it an input string. And that's where this can come in. Let's return input string for the moment. So that right there is sort of the skeleton of our program. And if I move this in here, this is the piece we want to work with. We want to, I think, split it out by like, we've got the rule on one side and the password on the other. So I think for each input string, we'll split based on colon equals. I think that's pretty unique in all these samples I'm seeing up here. And so what we're going to get out of that is like an unparsed rule and then password. And then from there, we're going to want to parse the rule. So I'm going to, think about this. I guess the two parts are the letter and then the min-max string. So we'll split that on a space. And then the last thing is we have min and max. And those come from min-max dot split. And we're going to split on the dash. And then those are going to come out as two strings. So I'm then going to map over those and do symbol to proc to turn them into integers. And so I think we have all of the pieces we want now. We have the min, the max, the letter, and the password. I could just, return those in like a, an array, like kind of a tuple of 4 things. This might actually be a good chance to use a struct though. So we'll say rule gets struct new, and we're going to have a letter, a min, and a max. So that's kind of a good representation of this thing. So now we can say rule.new, letter, min, max. That'll create a rule. And then instead, we'll return a true tuple of, I guess, password and rule. In which case, this thing can receive password and a rule. And now we can deal with those. We can write some validation logic for all of that. So, yeah, how do we want to approach this? We're given a string like this. And we want to go through and find out how many J's are in here. There's going to be a lot of ways we could do that. I think no matter what, we're just going to have to kind of linear time look at every single item in here and say, hey, is that a J? So we might as well just iterate over it directly. So we can turn the password into a list of characters, and then we could map, or we could filter it to just those that match the letter. So filter car and say, does car equal rule down letter? And if it does, that'll be true, and so it'll be filtered in, at which point we can say size. So we'll say this is going to be called password size. And then we would, I guess our return value is like, is the password size within the min-max bounds of the rule? So rule.min is less than password size, and password size is less than rule.max. Oh, and I guess it's going to be less than or equal on both of these, because these are inclusive. So with that in place, I think we can just run this now. Let's see how that does. Input on line 1009. Let's see. It's called input string. That's a good catch. To car, that's an undefined method on string. What am I thinking of then? Oof. Ruby string to character array. Scan. I don't think scan is what I want. Oh, it's just cars. Whoops. Let's give that another run. Well, that ran pretty quick, 625. Interested to see how that fares. Put that in here. And drum roll. All right, we got another gold star. Part 1 of day 2 is out of the way. Maybe we'll have another video with part 2. We'll see. But that's it for this one. Thanks for watching.